Despite Trump's doctors having him take cognitive tests every other day, apparently, where he nails the what is a giraffe portion, we still have concerns. Despite that, we still have concerns. And that happens when he forgets things like where his dad was born. So I just want to remind you, sometimes Biden would go, let me introduce President Putin. And then I was like, no, you're introducing Zelensky. And he cries. Or he would say, Egypt instead of Gaza. Or he would get a name wrong. Or one time he said, like, thank you for being here to someone who had passed away. And that would be front page news, right? This would be a lot of coverage, wall to wall from the right wing. But I don't see them talking about whenever Trump does something that if Biden did, they would make a big deal out of, like forgetting where his dad was born. Not by the city, not by the state, by the country. In the wrong country.
It's a shame. It's and that country, UK, and I love that country. I love it. My mother was born there. I love it. My mother was born there. My father was born. Like, he knows all about my father. My father was born there, so very places that you sort of automatically very feel warmly about. But the UK, what they're doing with energy and what they're doing with immigration is horrible.
So I guess he was with Mr. Germany, the German chancellor, and when he said Mr. Japan, did he say that? I think he said that, right? Mr. Japan. So Mr. Germany, and he goes, he's from there, gesturing, meaning, I guess, Germany. His dad was born in New York, like pretty far away if I have my geography correct. David Pakman said, today Donald Trump forgot where his father was born. Bring out the cognitive tests again. Of course, anytime there's a concern about his cognitive abilities, he takes a dementia screening test and counts backwards. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then gets 100 on it. No, I don't know. In fact, the president's father, Frederick Trump Jr., was born in the Bronx in New York City in 1905. Wow, that was a long time ago. It was his father's grandparents, Trump's grandparents, who were born in what was then the German Empire, specifically in the Kingdom of Bavaria. Just the quickest pause for the video amid all of this chaos. If you do appreciate these updates, please click the subscribe button, click the like button. Both of those are completely free, but subscribe is the most important to support what we do. Back to the video. So that's awkward. Like, imagine I said, I'm trying to picture, I know where my parents were born. I don't want to tell you because I don't want to dox their past selves, like, obviously, but in Texas, I think. I know they were born in America, and Trump didn't know where his daddy was born, but that's okay because he's accurately recounted other stories about his family.
We appreciate you doing an amazing job. They're building plants already, and they're building plants, and they have already their permits. And I have to brag just for a second, because when I first heard about AI, it's not my thing. Although my uncle was at MIT, one of the great professors, 51 years, whatever, he was the longest serving professor in the history of MIT, 3 degrees in nuclear, chemical, and math. Yeah. That's a smart man.
You have graduated. Did you say he got the degrees or he was teaching? With a very esteemed degree. Chemical. You have chemical degree.
Kaczynski was one of his students. Do you know who Kaczynski was? There's very little difference between a madman and a genius. But Kaczynski, I said, what kind of a student was he, Uncle John, Dr. John Trump? He said, what kind of a student? And he said, seriously good. He said he'd go around correcting everybody, but it didn't work out too well for him. Didn't work out too well, but it's interesting in life. But I will say this, that we have the greatest brains. We have the greatest.
I always love that transition. We have the greatest brains. I'm not doing a good job of advertising that right now, but somewhere in America, we have the greatest brains. And the problem with that story is that Kaczynski, the Unabomber, didn't go to MIT, and Trump's uncle died before anyone knew who the Unabomber was. So there's no way Trump and his uncle could have had a conversation about him teaching a student he didn't teach. So Trump just, this is called, in the looking out for cognitive decline world, or like dementia or something, confabulation, right? You create these, you believe them, but false memories. But don't worry, remember, in an interview, Trump said that his father dealt with something of the brain, but he's good. He doesn't. But what's that thing that what was that? What's the thing he had? And Caroline Levitt said Alzheimer's. So he forgot Alzheimer's while he was saying he doesn't have Alzheimer's. Awkward timing.
All right, moving further as of now, looking at global news. US President Donald Trump's health is back in focus after his niece suggested that he could be suffering from Alzheimer's. Mary Trump, who is a longtime critic of her own uncle, said that she saw flashes in him of the president's father, her grandfather, that is, Fred Trump. She said she had witnessed Fred Trump struggle with the degenerative disease before his death at the age of 93 in 1999. Speaking to New York Magazine, Mary said, "Sometimes Donald Trump does not seem oriented to time and place." Earlier, speaking to the outlet, the US president said that he did not care whether he had the same disease as his father. However, he appeared to forget the word Alzheimer's.
And listen, that's like a professional level whoopsie. Whenever you're saying, I don't have Alzheimer's, but you forget the word Alzheimer's. Like, and it's not to make fun of anybody. Very real topic, very serious, and a lot of emotion attached to Alzheimer's and all of it. But you do have to acknowledge when you're in an interview saying your brain's on fire, baby, and you forget the term you're looking for, and the term you're looking for has to do with your brain not being on fire. That's whoopsie. That's whoopsie is what you call it in the biz.
Prompted by his press secretary, Caroline Levitt. Donald Trump, who will turn 80 this year, has consistently maintained that his health is perfect. However, he continues to face speculation about his condition, with visuals emerging of swelling in his legs, ankles, and incidents where he...
So I don't know what station this is, but this is just something about Trump's, the lower third chyron was tickling me. Trump's niece says he may have the disease. The disease. Trump forgets the word Alzheimer's to describe father's illness. And then right before that, it was Donald Trump's health under scrutiny again. Trump says bruise result of big aspirin he takes. It's like having to put all of this in word form is strange. And I think that it reaffirms the absurdity of some of these sagas. Now, I play that for you just to remind you that's somewhat recently. And there's obviously other examples, but it's not an isolated incident where he goes, oh, my dad was born in Germany when he was not.